What's up, dudes? Max here. Before we jump into today's video, I wanted to give a big shout out to Kazimaru8, who said, "I'd love for Luke and Sean to be friends and rivals, and the last scene of Street Fighter 6's story mode is them fighting in front of a building like the beginning of Street Fighter 2 with Mike and Joe. It might possibly be better if the roles are reversed this time and who's receiving the punch, but we'll see. If you guys like these videos, do me a huge favor by leaving a thumbs up. It actually helps out a ton. And if you want to see more stuff like this in the future, go ahead and click the subscription icon and the bell notification to have them updated in your sub feed when the new videos go live." The other thing that did happen today that I wanted to talk about, because I got so many questions about it, and a ridiculous amount of support. I actually really appreciate it. Earlier today, I finished a workout and realized that I had been doing this shit for just about a year. And 55 weeks straight at this point of me essentially working out, like where I had a goal in mind where about at the end of 2020, I wanted to do something different because Ripley was getting heavier and heavier. And long story short, I knew this wasn't going to get any easier. And I knew that having this little girl, I was going to have to be way more mobile, way more athletic than I probably have been in a very long time. And I had a big motivation to try to keep up with my baby. I started investigating ways that I could start working out from home. And I kind of wanted to do it smart. And I'd been recommended from friends and family. My brother-in-law has been working out for like 10 years. He's super buff, and he's been very helpful. He's actually one of the DPs that does photography and stuff like that on Assist Me. The last Assist Me we did, he was actually the camera operator and stuff. He actually gave me some recommendations to check out this machine because he's tried it out himself, and he said it was pretty good. So I invested in a tonal, which is like a home workout machine, something that does digital weight and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I posted a couple of pictures of it on Twitter earlier, but nothing like progress photos. Like, to be honest, this is the first like actual photo of any kind I've really taken of myself, because I'm not a confident person. I'm confident in my abilities, but I am a super I'm very self-conscious, right? Extremely self-conscious. Unless it's things that I know that I'm proud of doing, that I have done like work-wise or something like that, then I'm okay with it. But usually when it comes to my personal appearance and stuff like that, I'm very self-conscious, and I'm absolutely hyper weird about all that kind of shit. That's the reason I haven't been making any progress pictures or anything. A lot of people are telling me and wondering if there's any progress photos, and I just haven't taken anything. And it's actually one of the things that I should have been doing over the several months I was starting and getting into this shit, is to actually see a difference, because there was definitely a mental moment halfway in between. But anyway, earlier today, I hit my 1-year streak, and I've been officially doing physical fitness and lifting weights with the goal of just gaining in size and not being as skinny as usual. This was the final workout that did it, putting about 9,300 pounds on my arms in one session. And yes, I was feeling relatively good about the workout, and I just snapped a picture because I had a massive pump, and I was like, okay, this is something that I'm actually kind of happy with. Like, after 1 year, I'm kind of happy of some element of progress where I've gotten to the point where I'm not like this. I don't feel like I'm proud of what's been going on. It's like all the people that have been saying on stream, which is very sweet of you, that Max is getting buff or Max is big, yada yada yada, and I appreciate that. But it's like, I don't feel I'm at a point or a level where I can actively start showing anything off like months ago. I just don't feel like I'm at that point. And I'm not even at the point where I'm targeting fat loss or anything like that. I'm just trying to get size on my frame. And I'm not even kidding you. A lot of people are going to have this question, like, how did I start? And because even I'm a beginner, right? I'm a year into this, and I'm an absolute beginner. I was skinny as hell, like super skinny. And I've been super skinny ever since high school. And I was very self-conscious about it in high school. I hated being skinny. I had a goal of getting more size on me in high school as much as possible. I would work out and gain muscle, but it would make me skinnier. So I got even skinnier, and I didn't feel great about that. So I just had no idea. There was no information on this stuff that you just had to eat a metric shit ton of food in order to gain size or anything like that. There was nothing of any of that stuff. So that was the last time I ever actually worked out. Almost 20 years of me actually pushing any kind of weight consistently in any way. I would say there's about 12 years ago where I was addicted to the beach, and I was pushing weight. It was the ocean, and I was going to the beach almost all the damn time, and it was wonderful. I felt great. I'd obviously, because I was out in the sun all the time, I was body surfing and doing all this stuff like all the damn time. And it was great. I was there like 4 days out of the week when I lived really close to the water in Santa Monica. It was awesome. But that didn't last, and long story short, career took over and became hyper-focused. And I would genuinely say for the past 12 to 13 years of my life has been absolutely sedentary, right? Where I had the gamer lean, right? Like my neck was like this in a position at almost every given time. Like the muscles in my back had not been utilized or used in any single way for like 5 to 6 years. So they just stopped working, and you get this like the entire, right? That entire process was happening to me. I look at myself in Assist Me, the last Assist Me that we did, and I can absolutely see it, right? If there's one thing that I'm super happy about this entire process, is that my posture has gotten way better. I've actually started to utilize, work out the muscles in your back. Then unless you work them out, right? Unless you actually put some resistance against them, it's life-changing, right? If you feel like, it feels like you have like a rubber band on your back, and it's just pulling back, right? Like everything on your back is just, there's like a pinpoint, and it just tightens everything back and pulls like your shoulders, your neck, like your head, everything just starts going backwards. And it's like, oh, okay, this feels significantly better. So that was huge for me, right? Like posture was such a big thing that I wanted to change, that I just really absolutely hated the way that I looked just walking around. I felt weak, and I felt like hollow. Long story short, I felt very frail after having a baby. That was not the way I wanted to feel anymore. Like I did not want that to be what my little girl's dad was going to be, and I just wanted my baby to have at least a relatively strong dad. Like I don't know, it's just a weird thing in me. And considering the way I felt, and even like my lower back and all these things were kicking in really hard when Ripley was like 4 or 5 months old, I knew I had to do something. And I was already thinking about it. And I'm like, if this and the pandemic and all this ridiculous bullshit, like father instinct stuff like that kicking in, there was one moment where I was like, you know what? I want to be a strong dad for my little girl, and I want to come out of this goddamn pandemic like a stronger, better individual than when we entered. And that was like a big goal for me. But even though I'm 1 year in now, it wasn't super easy, and I've had to learn a lot over the past year. And even like I said, I'm not trying to brag or anything. This is coming from a complete normal dude perspective. I started this thing at like 85 to 189 pounds, and I'm 6'4". So I'm a very tall dude, and I am very skinny, and I have like very long arms and very long legs. It's usually the amount of weight, and I was recommended to this from my brother-in-law. He's like, you're going to want to stay away from pull-ups and stuff like that, because the amount of distance that you have to travel in comparison to like anybody else is going to be a lot more. So you're going to have to build up like a lot of establishing mass in order to get to those points. It'll take a while. And that was the tough part, because yeah, I essentially had it in my mindset starting this thing off that the machine is going to tell me what I got to do. The machine is going to tell me the amount I need to lift, and how many times I should lift it, and how many times I should frequently come back, and that'll be it. And I did that. But long story short, it's not just that. Over the span of the year, I've gone from like 185 to 189, and now I'm 200 to 204, anywhere in between that. Funny enough, even though I've put on technically 10 to 15 pounds, I honestly think I look skinnier, like weirdly enough. And that's just because like the distribution of where weight resides in your body goes to different places. I'd say the first like 2 to 3 months, it was just like, I'm not even kidding you, chat, like establishing frame to actually do workouts. Like that was it. The beginning part of this, like I was working out 3 to 4 days a week, consistently working core and things like hips to actually prepare your fucking body to meet weight resistance. Because that's one thing the machine does. It knows that they shouldn't just throw you right into like the ringer and just start doing shit. it has all these like preparation workouts to start me off with things that I'm just not familiar with doing. So I would have to start building a foundation that would allow me to work out, to move things forward. The first 6 months was like, I felt a lot better. I personally felt really good. It was having a big impact on me emotionally, because I was like feeling better, and I was able to go out and do things that like hurt before. For the first time, I went to Disneyland, and my my lower back, my hips, like my legs did not kill me, right? All those things did not like hurt immensely, which was like, wow, this actually works. Wow, this shit is actually like working. What? This is crazy. So that felt nice, and it was kind of like motivating going forward in general. But if I was to tell you that there was any substantial differences, it was very minor, right? Even at the beginning of all this stuff, the mood changes was the big change, but in the first like 6, I'd even say 8 months of me working out, there was not many major changes. Nothing that I would be happy about really showing off or anything like that. Not at all. But there's good reasons for that. And this is like a part of the entire learning process that I was going through. I was still lifting, like, even if I was having some bad weeks, I'd still get at least 1 to 2 workouts in a week. At least if I had some crazy weeks where I was working like 4 to 6 days a week, it was not reflecting. And I wasn't, here's the crazy part, I was not really changing my weight, weirdly enough. And that was like 8 months of that. So I was building muscle, and things, I was definitely putting on more. The nice thing about this machine is that I don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? I just have zero clue what's going on, but the tonal during the workouts will automatically do shit, right? So if I'm like doing curls and I start off with like what, 17, 18 pound curls, and then you start doing more, whenever you come back, you know, the machine says, okay, we're just going to put an extra pound on. And it would put an extra pound on. And I don't even notice. The machine just gives me a ding as it's done. And it says, hey, congratulations, you just lifted a personal best. And it's like, okay, whatever, right? And these dings would start going on like crazy and all this kind of stuff. So I don't have to worry about progressive overload, which is continually adding more weight after you're comfortable with whatever you can lift. So the coolest part is that the machine's doing that for me. Since I'm completely brainless in this situation, I have no idea what I'm doing. At least the machine is doing that for me on a frequent basis for almost everything. But here's the problem. 8 months into this, I was taking protein shakes and doing all this stuff, and it felt like I was getting there, but I wasn't feeling much progress. And around the 8-month mark, I was feeling pretty down on myself. I was just like, man, I was still getting as many workouts as I possibly could, but I just couldn't. I was demotivated, and I was still trying to keep up with it, but I had to eventually learn that this is like normal. That this is a thing where not everyone's gonna get super fucking jacked in 6 months. Not everyone's gonna get super jacked and buff in 3 months. If you're doing this normally and you're not taking like any crazy shit that'll make your body crash, like the craziest stuff I'm taking is like men's 1-a-day pills and stuff like that for like vitamin D and things of that, like creatine and protein powder. It's nothing crazy. Even though I was doing all those things, the problem was I wasn't eating enough. And I didn't notice that I wasn't eating enough until around December. And I finally got an app, MyFitnessPal, right? And I was like, this is so friggin' frustrating that I just gotta sit on my phone and track everything that I'm eating. Oh my God, every single thing that I'm eating, this is absolutely ridiculous. And then I started to properly track what I was doing. I started to properly track how much I was eating. And long story short, I found out that I was eating less than 2,000 calories a day. And I was getting a lot of protein in, right? I was, but the amount of actual calorie intake that was going on there was like, I'm 6'4" and I weigh 190 something pounds. I had to eat way more food. I had to actually make sure that I had to get like about 3,000 calories in, if not more, and about 200 grams of protein, right? 2,000 calories at 6'4". Here's the thing. I don't eat a lot of food. I don't. I would eat like 1 meal a day and snack, and I'll eat something small before I go to bed, and that would be about it. Like most of the time I would no shit just like drink coffee. I was thin. I mean, if I was to go back and look at myself in the Assist Me episodes or like Assist Me reunion we did for Twitch back in 2020, I was very thin. Anyway, long story short, I was like, shit, wow, Wow. Okay, I need to eat way more food than I'm used to. And then I started doing that, right? I actually began to properly target eating in the morning, getting a large amount of protein in the morning, eating like a meal in the middle of the day, and then eating after a stream. So after the stream, I would make sure I'd eat something before I go to bed as well. Like, okay, I'm sick of this shit, right? I was at a point where, here, I can actually show you when I was like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm ready to go ham and go absolutely ham on this. I can show you the month that it was where I went fucking ballistic, and it was around January. So I would be getting on average like 1 to 2 days off a week, and I would just be going fucking nuts. And it kind of carried over into February, and now we're in March, and I've sort of evened it out. So I was like, you know what? I just need volume, right? I just need volume. I have to keep going. I need volume. I just gotta keep going. But even as I was doing that, I started to gain in size, which felt good. I was starting to see some differences, which was nice, but I was not doing this smart, right? I wasn't doing this smart. So I talked to my brother-in-law again, and he thought I was working out too much. He's like, I don't think you need to do that much. I was doing workouts that the machine had planned, right? And they were splits, like legs and back, arms and chest or something like that, right? They would put them in between, and I would do those sort of like categorized workouts that the machine would do, and I would just repeat them and come back to that muscle group every day. Long story short, I wasn't working out the muscle groups that I was targeting enough. I just wasn't. This is a part of the learning process, right? When I was doing these things, they were getting relatively easy, and I would only do like 3 reps and 3 sets, and I would be like, and I'd be done, and 35 minutes later, see you later. I'm absolutely finished. Like, good for the day. So 35 minutes later, done, and I did that for like a month. I started to, over the past month and a half, specifically target one thing: arms, right? Specifically target arms, biceps, triceps. Or in one day, I'm going to do shoulders and then a little bit of legs, right? Because you only want to do so much on your shoulders. And I got recommendations of what workouts I should be doing. And then once that happened, oh boy, shit started to hurt. And not in like, oh, I'm injured, because there was several injuries and all that kind of stuff. Not 3 reps, 3 sets. Did I say reps? So I pretty much increased all my sets up to 5, right? I'm going to truly exhaust the shit out of my arms, out of my chest, out of my shoulders, out of my back, and out of my legs. I'm going to exhaust the shit out of myself. And these workouts were taking anywhere on average from like 60 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. But I was only doing 3 or 4 a week. So that's what I've been doing for now. And even I'm kind of like lagging behind because it's been sort of busy. But once these were done, oh my God, things were, holy shit. I have been targeting things incorrectly, right? And every one of these exercises would start off with something that's compound, that's relatively big, and then I would exhaust the shit out of that muscle a little bit. And then I started to truly understand what working out really is. This is like 10 months into this shit. It's not about just pushing weight. It really isn't. It's not about pushing weight and hitting numbers. That's literally not it. I actually brought down my strength scores and things like that on the app because my technique wasn't good. And I was not exhausting muscle groups. I just wasn't doing much, right? I was getting the muscle activated, right? Which is great. But actually tearing the muscle down and allowing for regrowth, only until like you cannot push any fucking further and you're screaming to get that last one up, are you actually going to start seeing like good results? And I learned that. Like, that's something I absolutely fucking had to learn. So long story short, that's where I'm at right now. And I'm still struggling a bit to get like 3 to 4 workouts in a week. Still struggling a bit to get as much as I possibly can because of all this stuff. But now that I am, it's essentially resulted in, you know, everything's starting to pop, right? Things are starting to pop. Things are starting to get big. Wings are starting to stick out. There's starting to be these elements that I've been waiting to like see some sort of like development on in some way. And it's all starting to happen. The toughest part of development has definitely been my chest because, like if I have not had like a chest targeted activation for like 12 years, right? At least in any way, any small way. So having my chest like show up and come back is pretty difficult. Do I have abs now? Definitely not. Under all that shit, under all this puffy shit, I do, right? But abs are specifically diet. Abs are all diet. And when you're doing all this kind of stuff, you have to stretch your core. I'm sorry, you have to like flex your core doing all of this stuff, right? So you're getting an ab workout during a shit ton, right? A shit ton of these workouts, you're getting an ab workout. The problem with ab workouts or showing off abs in some way, you got to stop eating. You need to specifically start to calorie deficit, high protein. Like you have to be very careful, right? Because that's the part where you have to start lowering body fat. And I'm not really into that, right? I'm not really into specifically like lowering body fat. My body fat's probably over 20 or some shit. I don't even know. Like it's probably relatively high or something like that. I'm not looking for that, right? Long story short, I wanted to gain in size and I wanted to get to the point where the diet, the 3,000 calories I'm eating a day isn't complete shit. No, I'm not doing anything like weight gainers. I'm just eating food, relatively normal food. Jessica will make me like 3 days a week. We go get some short rib meat from Costco and we have like steak and eggs in the morning and stuff like that. Steak, eggs, and slices of tomatoes. It's fucking delicious. The toughest part is eating. Yeah, the most challenging part in this entire thing is absolutely eating. And I do have protein bars. I have protein snacks. You guys have been seeing me eating this kind of stuff like constantly. There's cashews, this kind of stuff all the damn time. So I need to actually increase the amount of carbs I eat. So I'll do, what's it called? I'll do pasta, right? I make my own pasta. I get turkey, ground turkey, get a whole bunch of like that super proteiny meat. You got proteiny pasta and stuff like that. It's fantastic. I'm starting to learn a lot more about like the process of how to get these appropriate macros and stuff like that. I'm just done with all these things to sort of nurse my body into the process of like eating enough food or getting shit done. So I mean, yeah, I was. I'm just sick of eating all the time. Anyway, still get the appropriate things that I need, right? But that even the past, I'd say 3 weeks, for example, I've been relatively easy on myself. I haven't really been calorie counting or anything. And I'm thinking about, I was at a point where I was like, like really hard, and you can't go like really hard, like all the damn time. You can't. And I'm in like a month now where I'm just like, yeah, I'll take it relatively easy. I'll work out 3 to 4 times a week when I can. If I'm like feeling super tired or I have no energy, I'm just gonna hold off, right? You need like a maintenance break. You can't just all the fucking time. It doesn't work that way. And the weirdest thing is that I'm seeing actually like better results, weirdly enough, right? Because when I do work out, I'm still pushing my ass super hard, right? I'm still making sure that I am absolutely working to failure. And in those situations, the workouts are big enough for one side of that muscle group that fucking will absolutely allow me to exhaust the shit out of it, right? Make sure it's actually working.